Hey everybody, and welcome back to the internet once again. Now, some of you have been saying that some of these stories probably aren't real, but, just imagine if the internet was real, though. So today's stories start off with, family should be your #1 priority on a flight. Sorry, what? So I know I always start my posts out like this, but my oldest sister is a flight attendant, and she has to deal with a lot of entitled parents. This is one story she told me about a year ago, and I still remember it. My brain is weird and I remember a lot of things, but can never remember anything to do with schoolwork. Anyway, my sister's flight this time around was one of those planes where you don't have assigned seats. It's first come, first serve. These sort of planes don't have first class and all the seats are pretty much the same. So my sister says, "I'm now calling all disabled passengers or passenger requiring assistance boarding the plane, such as pregnant women, passengers with wheelchairs, or senior passengers. Please have your boarding passes ready and your passport on the photo card." It's a very weird process, since in Britain, everyone just queues up and usually most of the priority passengers are at the back, so it's an awkward process. So some people have to move back or to the side to let the other passengers go forward. At this moment in time, most wheelchair passengers cannot really maneuver properly since it's very crowded and usually end up running over a toe or two, but usually no one makes a bigger deal than entitled kid. So this kid says, "Ouch, Mummy, someone stood on my foot." She says, "Oh no, Angel, I'll give it a kiss on the plane." The dad glares over at the wheelchair dude, says, "Watch where you're going, mate, you ran over my girl's foot." The guy says, "Did I? I'm very sorry, kid, I didn't mean to. Would a piece of chocolate make it feel better?" She says, "No, I want to go on the plane now. My feet probably hurt more than yours, and I want to sit." She probably thought the man was sat down because he was tired. She was young and around 3 years old. The dad says, "You heard her, mate. Let her go on before you." So my sister says, "Excuse me, sir, but we only allow priority passengers to board first. Your daughter will have to wait." The dad says, "No, family should be your #1 priority. You should let them board first because children are more difficult to handle." She says, "I'm sorry, sir, but families with smaller children are next to board. We want to help the people who need help getting into their seats before anyone else." Another flight attendant says, "Come on, wheelchair guy, let's get you on the plane." He takes the handles and wheels them off. The dad says, "We will be boarding now." Practically throws the passports at my sister. She says, "Sorry, we're boarding priority passengers only. Get to the back of the line." The mom says, "Come on, stop. Sorry about this. He gets stressed by travel." Well, so does literally everyone. She says, "It's okay. Please wait your turn." The dad scoffs and grabs his completely fine, entitled kid and storms off, leaving the mom to scurry after them. Yep, everybody thinks that they're the ones who need everything first. Well, at least it looks like we're still holding on to a lot of entitled parent stories. So this next one is from Tales from Retail, called "I Got Caught Checking the Back by a Customer." So I work at a popular southern grocery store chain at the customer service desk. For whatever reason, numerous produce trucks haven't been making it to our store for the past couple weeks, so our stock has been very low. As we're a neighborhood store and small anyways, we usually direct customers 10 minutes down the road to another location if they're that desperate for strawberries. Our store is great about keeping the shelves stocked. There is never anything in the back. If we have it, it's on the shelf. If the shelf's empty, we're out of stock. So during the day, there's a 2 to 4 hour window where there is no one working the produce department. So customer after customer kept coming up to the desk and insisting we check the back for more strawberries, despite us telling them that we were out. And at that time I was helping this customer, the truck was an hour away. Even if there was a back to check, I have no idea where they would store extra produce, or how to add strawberries I found in the back to add it to the inventory so I could sell it to this grouchy guy. The customer was insisting I went back to check both coolers. There's no coolers, just one cold prep room, so I don't know what he was talking about. And was trying to convince us to let him get back and check himself, which of course we couldn't let him do, so I went to the prep room to look. There was absolutely no produce in that room, but it's also cold as heck. As I stood in the hallway next to the room for about 30 seconds to make him feel better about me looking around. I'm sure every retail worker has been there. The customers always believe in the magical back, where we hide all the merchandise from them. But this guy came and pressed his face up against the door so he could see me standing there, looking mad, and that he was taking me away from my job. Whoops. Yeah, that is kind of funny, because we're so used to being able to just walk into a store and buy anything, so whenever something's out of stock, it's like, I think that for a lot of people it just doesn't really register in their brains that, yeah, the store just doesn't have it. I guess that's one of the main benefits of living in a first world capitalist country, is that we do just have grocery stores full of food. But like anything, when people get too comfortable, they become a little more entitled. So this next story is called Entitled Mom Calls Me Entitled for Refusing Food I Can't Eat. So backstory, I've been a vegetarian since the age of 18. I went vegetarian because I don't feel comfortable eating something where a living animal died to make it. I'm planning to go full vegan once I'm out of my parents' house. I learned the hard way that being a vegetarian doesn't only entail not eating meat or using leather, but also means I can't eat certain sweets and cheeses because they contain animal products. For example, many sweets contain gelatin, which is derived from collagen in the connective tissue of certain animals. Most jelly and gummy sweets and marshmallows have either pork or beef gelatin. Also, some cheeses, like Parmesan, contain rennet, which is a set of enzymes produced in an animal's stomachs used to curdle milk. That being said, let's move on to the story. So I'm at a bus stop, waiting to get a bus into town for college. At the bus stop, there's me, an entitled mom, and a nice kid who looks about 5 or 6, and a few other bystanders who, in typical British style, didn't get involved, just looked harder into their newspapers. I was listening to some music on my phone, and could see the nice kid clutching a pack of midget gems. I'm assuming entitled mom told him to go and share them with the strangers at the bus stop. Since he opened the pack, took one out and popped it in his mouth, then went over to the elderly couple sitting on the rail of the bus shelter, and then the pregnant lady sitting next to them. He then walks over to me, and I pull my earphones out. He offers me a midget gem, and I politely refuse it. I say, thanks, but I can't eat those. The kid smiles and walks back to his mother. I put my earphones back in and put my tunes back on. The next thing I know, the entitled mom rips the earphones out of my ears and says, "The nice kid was trying to be nice. Why were you so rude to him?" I say, "I wasn't." She said, "You were. He tried to be nice and offer you some of his sweets, and you said you were too good to eat his sweets." I say, "I said I can't eat them because I physically can't eat them." She says, "Don't lie to me. They don't have nuts or any allergens in them. You entitled jerk. What music are you listening to? We can hear it too." Not true, I have really good quality noise-canceling earphones that block out sounds from the outside, and blocks what I'm listening to from the outside. She puts my earphones in, just as the song goes, "Onto the barren land and wasted weeks, but we won't keep searching, we're freaking helpless." The entitled mom pretends to look shocked. She says, "You've been playing this poisonous music around my child? You're promoting the devil to my child?" I say, "Firstly, he can't hear my music. Secondly, I'm a vegetarian, I can't eat midget gems." She says, "They're gummy sweets, not actual midgets, dummy. My sister eats them all the time, and she's a vegan." I say, "They have gelatin in them." She says, "So?" I said, "Gelatin is made from animal tissue." "Stop lying to cover your own back, and take a fruit pastel for my child. Not that you deserve it, you Satanist." I say, "Read the side of the packet, read the ingredients." She says, "Fine, anything to prove you wrong." She snatches the packet out of the nice kid's hand and starts to read the ingredients list aloud in the most Karen-esque, condescending voice she can muster. Glucose syrup, sugar, beef. She goes white when she realizes they have beef gelatin in them. Conveniently, a bus comes pretty much as soon as they realize their mistake, so she grabs the kid's hand and bolts into the bus. Just before I put my earphones back in, the nice kid says something that makes me feel sorry for him, but that entitled mom deserves. She says, "Mom, this is the wrong bus." She says, "No, darling, we're going a different route today." The funniest thing is that the bus was going in the opposite direction to where they were going. I gotta be honest, if I tried to go vegetarian, or especially vegan, I would probably end up in the hospital for malnourishment, because I already don't really eat a lot. I don't like most foods, and the few foods that I do eat are pretty much non-vegan. So yeah, if I tried to go vegan, I would just die. So to those who actually choose to be vegan, good on you, but that is not for me. So this next story is a short one called, "Oh, you're closing? Let me take a shower first." So I work at a gym and we're open 24/7, but today for Easter we were closed for a few hours. This was made abundantly clear to everyone as we had signs everywhere for the past 3 weeks stating that we would close at 1. We also informed members who came in past noon that we would be closing in an hour. At 12:55, me and my coworker went around the gym informing people we were closing. Everyone seemed cool with it and started to wrap up their workouts. I checked the women's room, empty. Cool. But then my coworker comes out of the men's room and he did not look happy. I say, "What's wrong?" He says, "There's a dude taking a shower." I'm like, "Dang, is he almost finished?" He says, "He's just getting in now." I say, "Oh my gosh." Apparently this dude had literally just gotten into the shower as my coworker came in and told him we were closing. He didn't even have the water on yet, but just started taking a shower after hearing the news. Me and my coworker went back to the front and informed the boss lady. She was mad too. We waited, and it took 2 reminders of the coworker and almost 30 minutes for this guy to take a shower, then slowly leave the gym. I've dealt with much worse, but the absolute entitlement from some people, especially on a holiday when we want to go home and see our families, is ridiculous. I actually used to work at a gym for a while. Honestly, working at a gym was probably one of my most enjoyable jobs I've ever had. I mean, I've worked a bunch of jobs, like low-level, entry-level kind of positions, but working at a gym's pretty cool. You just kind of get to hang out, talk to the locals, maybe clean things up. I mean, it's a pretty chill environment if you're just there to work. But yeah, working the closing shift, you do run into some people who just like to take their time getting finished. And onto the final story called Either Treat Your Kid Like an Adult or Buy Her a Bus Ticket. So I had a friend in college who was always kind of a user. She never had a car, so she would ask me a lot of times to give her rides here and there, mostly to the grocery stores and the mall. I agreed the first few times because we were friends, and she just happened to ask when I was about to go out to those places. Anyways, the end of the semester rolls around and she keeps asking if I can give her a ride home. We lived in the same kind of area, but I was still unsure of when I was leaving or if I was going to drive myself. For maybe a week, while I'm still trying to figure out how I'm planning to get home, she comes up to me with, "My mom wants your license number and a picture of your insurance." I look at her like, excuse me? She tells me the same thing again. I ask her why. She hits me with, "My mom says you can't drive me home unless she has a copy of your driving records." I basically tell her, "Well, then it looks like I'm not driving you home." First of all, I hadn't even agreed to take her back home yet. I wasn't sure if I was driving myself. Secondly, there was no way in heck I was going to give a complete stranger any bit of my personal information. Third, we're in our early 20s. We're not children anymore. I get that she wants to make sure her kid is safe, but at some point you would think parents would learn to take a step back. Yeah, some kids never really fully grow up, I think. I wonder if she even had her own driver's license herself. Well, that does it for one of today's videos. You'll notice I said one of today's videos because I want to start experimenting with doing other types of videos, not just reading these stories, but I don't want it to come at the expense of the story videos because, you know, I've built kind of a big audience just off of these story videos, so I don't want to just completely ditch all of them to try something else, so I'm just going to try and do both for a little while, so we'll see how this goes. Anyways, thanks for watching.